Welcome to What's in the Christian Nutrition, the show where we review every single episode of What's in the Bible in chronological order. And by we, I mean just me. You know, I was happy when you guys actually voted for me to review another episode of this series. This series is not the easiest to review, and it's actually cram-packed full of information all the time, and yet it's funny. It's a show you really gotta watch for yourself, but I'm so glad you guys wanted me to review it again. It's a great show, and I know I'm giving that away early, but it really is. Today's episode is titled, Who Wrote the Bible? A great question indeed. This is not really a series I recommend watching out of order, so please watch the first episode with the link in the description to get caught up. With that, let's review another episode of What's in the Bible.
Mother! Yes, we all love Carrie Underwood. Please let Jesus take the wheel so you can find the next DVD.
Encouraging people to let go of the wheel, look around their car for a DVD. I'm sure cops, people stuck in traffic, and just, people in general hate you now. Thanks. Great job. Keep it up.
That was a little musical humor. I'm not suggesting Jesus will actually be driving our minivan anytime soon.
You can really tell Phil Vischer's progressed as a person as when this joke is told, he feels the need to explain it because he knows parents will send angry letters or, if this was on YouTube, leave dumb comments. So he's got himself covered.
I watched the entire first episode and they didn't even get to Genesis. At this rate, I'll be at Grandmom's house before God creates chickens.
Which we all know was on the 8th day of creation. That's basic biblical knowledge, but I guess you are watching What's in the Bible, so you had to learn that.
Which day did God create chickens, Mother? Was it before or after he created Colonel Sanders?
Well, now, to anyone who is a fan of my show and is also, just happens to be a chicken as well, I apologize deeply and profusely. Just like a politician or a company, when they do something on purpose and then people react badly to it, so they apologize humbly and deeply and profusely.
Buck?
He's dead.
Boy, that escalated quickly.
No, Ian, he isn't dead. Puppets don't die. He's just sleeping.
That's the same thing my parents told me back when my dog got hit by a 2003 Dodge Challenger with the stupid underglow lights. Yeah, he's been taking a really long nap since then. Oh, I'm sure he'll be well rested.
And now it's time for What's in the Bible with Ian.
What? Huh? I just had a terrible dream that someone was taking over the show. How's my hair?
I would be completely okay with Ian taking over the show. In fact, let's call it What's in the Bible with Ian. Ian then reminds Phil Vischer that he promised ponies would be in this episode, which is true. And Phil tries to back up by saying that isn't what he meant. Ian then casually mentions how ponies are God's wonderful creations right alongside unicorns. Oh, great. Either kids are going to think that unicorns are real now or that ponies aren't real. Thanks, What's in the Bible. Thanks.
Oh, this one's going to be even bumpier than the first one. I'm putting on my seatbelt.
Our sofa doesn't have seat belts.
I'm glad to see these two return. I really look forward to more of their commentary. Unfortunately, though, this is like the only time we see them in this episode. Very disappointing. We then get what is a terrible segment in the show and definitely needs to be cut as soon as possible, where kids attempt to tell us who wrote the Bible. They answer a question that we ask them. It's supposed to be like, kids say the darndest things or funny things, but it's never funny. It's just the darndest things, but not funny. So I don't know how else to explain it. And of course, none of them have the answer. It isn't really cute or funny to see kids trying to answer this question for 2 whole minutes. It feels like forever, but whatever. They then explain that God inspired the Bible, not that he physically wrote it himself. He breathed into people the ideas or thoughts he wanted people to write about. We then get a very detailed explanation on who we believe wrote each book of the Bible, with Paul pretty much being, the MVP. He's the real MVP because he wrote most of the New Testament.
We're about to pull over for Slim Jims and Twizzlers, and I still haven't learned anything about Genesis.
A very good point. When the heck are we going to learn about Genesis? We are 9.5 minutes into this episode, and we've already had a whole episode before this.
Genesis begins it all, and appropriately it's at the beginning of the Bible.
Oh, hey, it's Rhett and Link. Finally, they're segments are actually the polar opposite of that kids question thing. It's one of the best segments of the show.
Genesis really means beginning. If it were anywhere else in the Bible, that would be kind of confusing.
Well, I guess the first book could have been called Alpha, and the last book could have been called Omega instead of, Genesis and Revelation, but I guess that would be a little confusing since God is the Alpha and the Omega. But then again, the Bible is the Word of God, so just wanted to point that out.
Adam and Eve had one rule to follow, but they ate from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, causing trouble for all subsequent people.
Boy, that escalated quickly. I mean, that really got out of hand fast.
It jumped up a notch.
It did, didn't it?
Genesis is a long book with 50 chapters that's divided into 2 parts. The first 11 chapters make up part 1, covering primeval history.
Primeval history? Are these books about Satan? Is this what's in the Satanic Bible? Oh, we've been tricked. We gotta run.
Primeval comes from 2 Latin words meaning first and age. So primeval history is the story of the first age.
I guess that makes sense, though I'm not sure if I quite believe you. I still think these books are all about Satan, but I'll stay with you for right now. What's in the Bible? I'll try to hang on, only because I'm forced to. Phil Vischer then explains the basics of the 3 parts of a story, meaning beginning, middle, and end. Very vague, I know.
And the end of the story is where they roll the credits so we can count all the stuntmen and best boys.
That is exactly right. I loved how the new Star Wars The Last Jedi, no spoilers, don't worry, ended with that Kylo Ren and Snoke scene. It felt like it was just the middle of the film, but due to butthurt fans, they cut the original ending since it angered everyone. Well, it didn't, but, it angered the fans, quote unquote, and replaced it with credits, which still angered, quote unquote, the fans. I think the lesson we all learned here is that people take Star Wars way more seriously than they take the Bible. They care way more about something that doesn't matter at all, but something that does actually matter. So interesting.
The world really doesn't make sense until you've read the first 11 chapters of Genesis. Pretty cool, huh?
Is Phil asking me a question? This is awkward. I always assume everyone in the shows we review or movies are ignoring me. I don't even know what to do.
Pretty cool, huh?
Wow, he is really persistent. I mean, will my answer change the course of this episode? Is it like a choose your own what's in the Bible episode, or is this something like a Telltale game where I give an answer, it feels like it means something, but then it doesn't actually change the end result?
Pretty cool, huh? Pretty cool, huh?
Yes, it is very cool, Phil.
So, who can explain it for us?
I answer and then he ignores me, just like my napping dog.
A long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away.
I think you're telling the wrong story.
Is he, though? I think we would all like to hear the Bible told like Star Wars. It would really enhance some stories. Like Samson, though Song of Songs would feel a lot like the cheesy love scenes in the prequels.
Beautiful.
It's only because I'm so in love.
No. No, it's because I'm so in love with you.
A long time ago, right about here, there was God.
God is a cloud?
It makes about as much sense as showing him as an old man with whiskers.
We then learn the beginning of everything, and I do mean the beginning of everything, quite literally. The first 7 days. Read Genesis or watch this episode if you need more details on that.
And boom, he made the man and the woman. They didn't have any clothes, so they had to stand behind the bushes whenever anyone took their picture.
What?
You know, for kids' Bibles and stuff.
There are no naked pictures of Adam or Eve anywhere in this Bible. They then explain free will and how we as humanity screwed everything up through our own choices, and how we still have free will and we still continue to screw things up. How we have the power to choose to do good or bad things, debunking that annoying question about how God allows bad things. God allows us, and we are full of sin. To get rid of bad things, He needed to eradicate us. All of us. Not just things you think are bad or just people you think are bad.
It got harder when someone else showed up in the garden.
Who showed up? Santa Claus? Elvis?
Sure, why not? Santa Claus and Elvis.
Whoa, I did not know this was a Mormon show about the Bible. I guess that explains the fan fiction.
Now Adam and Eve had a choice to make. Would they trust the God or would they trust the snake?
Don't trust the snake! Don't trust the snake! I've got a bad feeling about him.
I have a bad feeling about this.
Spoiler alert, they trust the snake.
God let Adam and Eve choose who to trust. They chose the snake.
Nope, I am not doing this. Skip. Thank the Lord we skipped his song because it lasts for a whole 5 minutes. He is basically the junior asparagus of this series.
Well, that brings us to the end of this episode of What's in the Bible.
Wait a minute. You forgot about the ponies.
True. I mean, if we can get a 5-minute song from the most annoying character in the show, then I think we can get a short segment about ponies. I think that's a fair trade.
We mentioned ponies.
But I want to see a pony.
Okay, here.
Ponies!
We are seeing the physical manifestation of Phil as Bob the Tomato.
About how sin comes into our lives when we choose to ignore God's voice and instead listen to other voices around us.
May I see the pony again? Ponies!
Hello, darkness, my old friend. I've come to talk with you again.
What's his plan? We'll get into that next.
One more time. Ponies!
See you next time.
That was the second episode of What's in the Bible. And as I said previously, this is the one show, and it's really the only show out of everything I've reviewed, movie or show-wise, that you have to watch to fully understand and fully get everything. Because sure, a review of a regular VeggieTales episode or a review of a Christian movie or something like that, you get the basic story, you get the jokes. I mean, you understand the movie even if you haven't seen everything. But with What's in the Bible, there is so much I just can't cover. Otherwise, it will just be the length of the actual episode, and it will just show everything from the actual episode, and that's where you get sued. So do me a favor, and if you like what you see in these reviews, just watch the show. I highly recommend it. Remember that God made you special, and He loves you very much. Bye!